Right, here we are. Yeah.
Whoop, wrong hand.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
I'm Skip.
I'm Katrina.
Let me mute this.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Before it becomes a crazy feedback loop. Always technical problems here at AV Geeks because we're bridging more than 100 years of technology. Sometimes we forget one end or the other. So, so I'm so excited that today is round 3 of the toe tapping tournament 2022.
Thanks, everybody, for voting.
Yes. There were some surprises, and I'm going to bring up the big board and kind of go through it. So, on the way to school versus I Am Me and I Want to Be. I Am Me and I Want to Be trounced on the way to school. There were some fans, but a lot of people were like, that's way too hippy-dippy. Plus, the kids are too out of tune. and that seems to be a problem. Handy-dandy filmmaking film versus Ducks. Again, a kid and an adult singing got trounced by a bunch of kids singing about ducks. And sorry, old radios, but that was written by a serious professional songwriter. Ducks. Choosing what to make versus vandalism. Vandalism got trounced, which made me sad because I'm a big fan of the Sneaky song that was in Vandalism film. But choosing what to make. Everybody liked that kind of torch song, claymation torch song. And then the truck song versus Education Today. Education Today beat pretty soundly. Then in the next column on the right, Never Say What You Can't Until You Try beat Me and the Monsters. And Telezonia, which is a classic favorite, Put Your Finger In, got beat by The World of Work. The Mulligan Stew Flim Flam Man song, which was Harry Nilsson-esque, but sung by a kid, got beat by A.C. Delco's 1973 Spring Campaign. I mean, it's, those are the big guns. Those are professional singers and songwriters, and they just trounced Mulligan Stew. Poor Mulligan. And then finally, Body Talk, which was written by Neil Innes of Monty Python fame, got beat by Garbage in Your Gut. And a lot of people think Garbage in Your Gut is the one to watch. They are very, very excited by it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the new heats competitions. We're going to do 4 of them. So 8 songs that won the first and the second rounds. Then what you'll do is you'll watch, and then at the end, you'll email me at skip@avgeeks.com. You can see the email in the center, and I'll also put it in the comments. This will come up with our final 4, and we will use that final 4 to compete against Found Footage Festival. And this is what they want. They also want the club painting that they lost to me. Well, I can't coordinate.
Towards
right there. Boop. They also want that, but this is what they really want. And we decided, instead of them coming up with a new piece of artwork that they're going to give to us after we win, we decided that they actually should recreate this painting and serve us some sort of Thanksgiving meal dressed as clowns.
Yeah.
And not just clowns, but clown pilgrims. So, and they seem to be on board for it. So this is an opportunity for you to see the Found Footage Festival guys dressed as clown pilgrims serving us food. So there you go. All right, so this is it. So you guys are pretty good judges of music, except for the sneaky thing, which I'm not really sure. I still love that song, but you guys voted for it.
But it was up. What it was up against?
It was up against Choosing What to Make. So I don't know. All right. I guess it was claymation versus marionettes.
I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Marionettes are always gonna.
They creep too many people out.
Yeah.
It's that uncanny valley of marionettes. All right. So the first competition we're going to watch is I Am Me versus Ducks. Watch and enjoy.
Inside of every big guy, you'll find there is a little guy, a small guy who wants to become a big guy. I wonder why you big guys don't talk to all those little guys, 'cause if you do, you'll find the reasons why. Your little guy needs help from you, it's easy for big guys to do, and with a little help from you, your small guy learns to grow up too. So get to know that small guy, a really not so bad guy, that little guy who wants to be a big guy. Inside of every big guy, you'll find there is a little guy who wants to be a big guy just like you.
Duck is a word that stands for a bird that walks with little web feet. Feathers on its back and it talks with a quack to anyone it might be. Keeping clean is lots of fun for ducklings, ducks and everyone. Always washed and clean and neat, and nicer birds you'll seldom meet. Their feathers are so clean and bright, they keep them clean both day and night. Ducks take baths like you and I, but ducks do not need towels to dry. Duck is a word that stands for a bird that walks with little webbed feet. Feathers on its back and it talks with a quack to anyone it might be.
It has a kind of mighty wind feel to it. That Eat at Joe's, kind of that listing.
Just for the record, this guy was just dancing and toe tapping.
It's so great.
To the ducks.
I love the ducks thing, and it's the whole song is it spans the entire film. So I didn't want to show a 10-minute song.
Oh, the entire film for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That might wear me out.
Yeah.
But
So I picked what I thought was the best one, which is about how ducks don't need towels to dry. All right. So we're back at the tournament. All right. So we just watched I Am Me and I Want to Be versus Ducks. So you'll vote again. You'll vote between those two. The next one coming up, if you look at the bottom to the left, is Choosing What to Make versus Education Today, the rap.
Oh, buddy.
So here we go.
What you gonna make for your mama when all you have is your paper and glue? You might wanna make her a flower pot, but I'm afraid that won't do. 'Cause you put in the dirt, you pour on the water, and the paper pot would fall apart. With your paper and glue, what you probably should do is make her a real fancy card. Now what you gonna make for your daddy when all you have is a big lump of clay? You might wanna make him a real nice card for his birthday or Valentine's Day. The cards made of clay are almighty thick, and envelopes are kinda thin. So listen, why not make your clay to a pot for him to grow daisies in? What you make depends a lot on what you've got to make it out of. You better think about that just a little before you start wondering how do you do it. Now what you gonna make for your brother when all you have is a big box of paints? You might want to make him a nice batch of cookies and figure you'll get no complaints. The cookies made out of paper and paint, well, they don't taste much like a cookie should taste. You'd be better off painting a picture of him. The cookies would all go to waste. You've got milk and flour painting stock what you should think of making. It makes a messy paint, let me tell ya. You'd be better off doing a little baking. If you want to make a nice thing, better start off with the right thing. I think you'll turn out okay. If you want to make a nice thing, better start off with the right thing. I think you'll turn out okay. I think you'll turn out okay. I think you'll turn out okay.
Check it out, though.
E-D-U-C-A-T-I-O-N.
Well, that's a good way to comprehend.
We are more than conquerors.
Spin a wheel and choice.
Read a little.
Geeks.
Lift up your voice.
Well, I'll say,
Okay, now that's a better way.
pick up a book and take a look
at
at
education today.
Don't look down.
Look up.
Float above the rim. Like on water
We
with
can fit it and spread.
reach for your goal.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Don't give up the fight. Hold on to your dream. Right.
Right.
I'm gonna start. That's my coalition. Pick one subject for my occupation. Be one who works well with ants.
And be a vet.
Solve the flu or chicken pox.
And be a doc.
Hear you when you're at your worst.
And be a nurse.
Fix your teeth when in a mess and be a dentist.
All these occupations are just choices you know. But just start. I'm smart.
Be your own hero.
So good.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of real beatboxing, and that was real Dallas, Texas beatboxing there.
What I love about that is it feels like a found movie. Like, it feels like something the found footage guys would have in their collection. Like,
Right.
we found this tape of these kids making their own songs.
Right.
And, oh my gosh.
And
so
I
good.
should say that I know, because I've been watching their show, one of their 4 songs that they're going to compete against us with is a rap, and it is horrible. It is a horrible white public service guy rap.
Oh,
So
well.
it is. I mean, it's great in the context, but it would be destroyed if you guys voted for Education Today. Now the thing is, I don't know. I think we're going to try to randomize who's competing against who.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it would compete against the thing about littering.
Well, that's to even say it wins, because the clay thing, I mean, I love the way it's so good. It's a great song, but also the way that the band looks.
Yeah.
There's such characters, and it was funky. The funky bandmates.
Yeah. So the next thing we got coming up is Never Say You Can't Until You Try versus World of Work.
Talking to people out there, yeah. Got a little message, goes something like this, yeah. You can make it if you try now. Come on, try, keep on trying till you do it now. You got to take the first step, take that first step, baby, now you can make it if you try, yeah. Got nothing to gain, got nothing to lose until you do it now. You got to try. All right, now let me try it. Let me try it by myself. Hey, you did it. Hey, you knew that you could get it. Hey, you did it. Hey, you knew that you could get it. Hey, you did it. You gets you excited. It's the feeling you get when you know that you tried. It's the beautiful feeling that gets you excited. It's the feeling you get when you know that you tried. It's a beautiful feeling that gets you excited. It's the feeling you get when you know that you tried. It's the beautiful feeling that gets you excited. It's the feeling you get when you know that you tried. It's the beautiful feeling that gets you excited. It's the feeling you get when you know that you tried. It's a beautiful feeling that gets you excited. It's the feeling you get when you know that you tried. It's a beautiful feeling that gets you excited. It's the feeling you get when you know that you tried. It's a beautiful feeling that gets you excited. It's the feeling you get when you know that you tried. It's a beautiful feeling that gets you excited. It's the feeling you get when you know.
There's something out there in the world of work that's right for you. There's something out there in the world of work inside for you. There's something out there that's bound to make it. Think of a choice, then reach out and take it. There's something out there waiting in the wide, wide world. The world of work. Reach out and take it. The world of work. Reach out and take it. The world of work. Reach out and take it. The world of work.
So that was captured from an earlier show because I have a different orange shirt on today. But
Was it the same chorus? Do you think that was hired for the two songs, but two totally different styles?
it does have that feel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or, you know, it just could have been that style.
Yeah.
But they are very similar. I'm torn. It's not an easy
It's a
decision.
hard one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do not envy you guys, but yes. All right, last one. This one's going to be a toughie. This is AC Delco 1973 Spring Campaign versus Garbage in Your Gut.
Oh, buddy.
To load.
That's how it ends, we're all done. Hope that our friends all had fun. But that depends, did each one turn on with AC? This is the word, our concern. From what you heard, did you learn? Have you been stirred? Will you turn on with AC? Gonna get tough and sell, get premium points as well. Gonna go give them hell out there in the field. Turn on the sails, push 'em through. Good for what ails all of you. Warehouse retails, jobbers too. Turn on with AC.
Garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Oh, keep your mouth shut. And garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Keep your mouth shut. And garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut.
French fries.
Say what? In the gut. Say keep your mouth shut. Say garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth shut. Say garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth shut.
Potato chips?
Garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth shut.
Chocolate donut.
Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth shut. Garbage in the gut.
Ice cream.
Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth shut. Garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth shut. Garbage in the gut. Say what?
Cherry
Keep your
blossom.
mouth shut. Garbage in the gut.
Strawberry pie.
Say keep your mouth shut. Garbage in the gut. Say what?
Blueberry pie.
Keep your mouth shut.
Dewberry
Say
pie.
what? Garbage in the gut. Say
Licorice.
Say what?
Jam. Jelly. Peach Melba. Baked Alaska.
I mean, there's no contest in my book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chocolate donuts.
Yeah, he's got the real Homer Simpson.
Licorice.
Yeah, licorice. Yeah, so I will recap and replay these at the end of the show. But yeah, thanks for your votes up to this point, and we look forward to the hard decisions that you have to make. You have until Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, and then we'll announce the final four. And we're not going to pare it down beyond there because, honestly, that's hard. I think it's hard. I mean, you can certainly tell us what your favorite is of those, the ones that you picked. But yeah, it's the idea is that we're going to go up against Found Footage Festival, and I think it's going to be the following week.
Okay.
That we're going to do that. We're kind of trying to figure out celebrity judges and all that stuff. But yes, please chime in. Thank you, Katrina, for helping introduce the films and
Always
host.
a joy to be here.
Yes. And so now we're going to watch a film that we have set up on the telecine that I don't think has a crazy song to it. Although I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen it. I do know that it has macrame puppets in it. So there's that. All right, so this is Smoke. Enjoy.
Say, you told me about clothes catching on fire, and I remembered to drop and roll. Good. Say, what else can happen when there's a fire? What else should I look out for? You have to look out for smoke. Smoke? Aw, how could smoke hurt me? Listen, smoke can make you cough. It can get in your eyes so you can't see. I hadn't thought of that. And smoke can make you really sick and even throw up. Wow. Well, then if there's smoke, I'd better run away. No. If there's smoke, you get down near the floor and crawl. Crawl? Well, why would I do that? Listen. Smoke rises. Okay, so smoke rises. If you get down near the floor and crawl, you'll find fresh air down here, and you can crawl away safely. Okay, I'll get down and crawl. Say, would it really help? It sure will. Look down there. I saw a big fire yesterday.
Were the firemen there?
Yes, and they were wearing masks. Why were they wearing a mask?
Those were air masks, like this one. See this tube? It brings fresh air from the tanks on their backs to this mask on their face.
Oh, boy, that looks good. Hey, can I try it on?
Sure, I'll help you.
This is fun. Only it's heavy. Can you take it off?
Okay.
Why would they wear something like that?
At most fires, there is a lot of smoke. It stings your eyes so you can't see. Smoke makes you cough so you can't breathe.
Yeah. I didn't like that smoke from the picnic fire last summer, so I just got away.
Firemen have to go into that smoke to put out the fire, so they wear these masks.
Gee, if I'm in a fire, maybe I should get a mask too. Then I could have
No, it's my job to go in and put out the fire. It's your job to get out quickly.
Yeah, but suppose I have to go back in to get something. Then I can
Once you're outside, never go back into a burning building for any reason.
Okay. So then I won't have a mask.
That's right.
Well, what would I do? Should I close my eyes and feel my way out?
No, because smoke is also poison.
Poison?
Yes, it could make you very sick, and maybe even unconscious.
Wow. Well, so what would I do?
You would get down low to the floor and crawl to the nearest door.
Down low? Crawl? Now, why would I do that?
Watch this. Remember, smoke goes up.
Right.
It goes up slowly, it hits the ceiling, then it spreads out, and soon it will start coming down.
Look at that. It's filling the room. It's starting to come back down.
Now, if you get down low to the floor and crawl to the door, you won't breathe in as much smoke,
My eyes won't sting.
and you won't cough so much or get sick. Remember, cool, fresh air is down close to the floor.
I understand.
Let's see if you really understand. Watch these children and tell me if they're doing the right thing.
Well, they're walking along. They're okay so far.
But now, they have walked into the smoke.
Gee, they can't see where they're going. They're coughing.
You see, they don't know how to get out safely. They don't know what to do.
They look as though they're in trouble.
You're right. They're in bad trouble. Now, watch this group.
They're walking along, too.
Now, they're coming to the smoke.
Look, they're dropping to their knees. They're crawling along under the smoke.
That's right. They're crawling under the smoke. Now do you understand?
Yes, I do. They'll make it out safely. Boy, am I glad. Hey, but, what if they were in school? You can't crawl in school, can you?
Of course you can. If you're in school, in your home, or at any building, if there is smoke, you drop to the floor and crawl.
Yeah, but wouldn't the teacher get mad if you started crawling?
No. If there is smoke, the teacher should drop to the floor and crawl too.
I guess the smoke could hurt the teacher, too. So we all crawl.
That's right.
You know, my classroom is on the second floor. If the fire is on the first floor, do I have to worry about smoke?
Yes, you would. Remember, smoke goes up. Look, many buildings have small holes in the floor where wires and pipes go through. Smoke will go up through those holes into the second floor.
Yeah, I see it going from the first floor up to the next floor. Gee, it looks like it's going fast, too.
So remember, if there is a fire, get out as fast as you can. And if there is smoke, drop to the floor and crawl.
I sure will remember what you said. And if I have to go back to get something, I'll...
No. Once you're outside, stay outside. Never go back in for any reason.
Okay. I understand.
Let's look again at the children who did the right thing when they came to the smoke.
There they are, walking along.
They're coming to the smoke. Watch them. Down they go to the floor, crawling under the smoke to safety.
Hey, who's that crawling along behind them?
That's their teacher.
Say, that's a smart group of children with a smart teacher. Say, did you hear the fireman?
Yes.
He showed a whole classroom down on the floor, crawling under the smoke to safety.
And it worked.
It sure did. Will you remember to crawl if there's smoke? I sure will. I'll remember.
Puppets. Well, a puppet and then white gloves. That's the mark of, like, yeah, and we're going to have all these puppets and it'll be great. And then it's like, wow, it took us forever to, not necessarily macrame, crochet this puppet. So we're just going to use white gloves. Yeah. All right, what do we got? Let's learn about the development of transportation.
Lone Eagle. Our world was once a dim, unknown expanse, with many shut-in people. Each tribe was strange to the other. Each civilization was hemmed in by great natural barriers. Steep slopes and snow-clad peaks made high mountains impassable. Vast dry plains, by their empty expanse, kept apart people dwelling in more fertile areas. Great stretches of treacherous desert sands forbade travel. Timbered wildernesses hid tangled depths through which travel was both dangerous and difficult. Sweeping river floods for a long time could not be crossed. And the greatest of water barriers were the tossing wastes of endless sea. In our country's broad expanse were all the different barriers known to man. Our progress has been due in the main to breaking down these barriers, largely by improving our means of transportation. The 13 colonies as a new nation fell heir to the rich wilderness west to the Mississippi. Later came many other additions of undeveloped lands, Louisiana and Florida, Texas, and the Oregon and California territories, and lastly, the Gadsden Purchase. Within 70 years, our country spread 3,000 miles from the Atlantic seaboard to the Pacific. Pioneers began to move into these undeveloped lands, and at once the Appalachian Mountains loomed as a barrier. Further beyond lay dark forests and swift-flowing rivers, and broad, dry plains that sloped upward to the snow-capped mountains, deep gorges, and the deserts of the Rockies. Crude roads through the Appalachians were tedious and unsatisfactory, so the Erie Canal was built to help the westward movement. Meanwhile, that ever-curious and never-satisfied group, the inventors, were improving on James Watt's early steam engine. They caused this new power to turn wheels. They placed these wheels on tracks, and the day of the railroad dawned. Stephenson's locomotive was followed by the DeWitt Clinton, and eventually by the modern railway train. Railroads have contributed more than any other transportation device to the development of our country. The spread of our railroad network is shown by this map. In 1830, an experiment. Within 20 years, a great industry. By 1870, the continent spanned. By 1890, well-established lines of transportation nationwide. Today, all sections of our country closely linked. The invention of the gas engine made possible the automobile, which, in growing from a two-cylinder experiment to today's speedy, powerful vehicle, has contributed amazingly to our country's development within the last 30 years. America's 27 million automobiles have demanded the replacement of roads such as this by a nationwide network, broad and smooth and durable. The growth of our federal highway system is shown on this map, and after it, the development of our state highways. The United States has become the leading industrial nation of the world. Land transportation devices actually move mountains of raw materials from their sources and, aided sometimes by ships on river, lake, and ocean, They carry these materials to factories. Grain from our broad fields is taken in vast quantities to elevators and thence to distant markets by these same giant devices. Long lumber trains wend their way from forest to mill. Great factories are located at strategic points, and these factories depend in turn upon transportation to distribute their finished products. Land transportation ends at great harbor railway terminals. Here, ocean-going ships are waiting to receive travelers on their decks and goods of every description to make up their cargoes for foreign distribution. Dwellers in our cities demand millions of automobiles for transportation. Street railways handle their quota of passengers, supplemented by fleets of taxicabs and buses. Railroads, when crowded off street levels by congested conditions, speed over tracks laid underground or in the air above. Commuters' trains, suburban districts, rush into central stations daily with their burden of humanity. The ship, the railroad, and the automobile combine in solving the problem of distributing within the city not only human cargo, but food and merchandise and the other materials necessary to support life. This development of transportation has broken down even the greatest barriers. The hearts of mountains have been pierced by tunnels through which the commerce of a nation rushes swiftly and safely. Mountain sides have been cut open and highways planted there. Where now is the dark barrier of tangled wilderness, it has been pierced by these same transportation ribbons of steel and concrete. Across the once lonely prairie stretches, we now hurl ourselves and our goods with ever-increasing Across the once lonely prairie stretches, we now hurl ourselves and our goods with ever-increasing speed and safety. High above broad rivers, we have built strong bridges of steel and stone. We no longer pause in dismay at the water's edge, but cross upon these bridges or on swift-moving boats upon the bosom of the river, so that our streams have become highways now and are no longer barriers. Today, our land transportation devices gather in great numbers near the water's edge and then defeat the floods by crossing swiftly through under-river tunnels from shore to shore. What then of the widespread seas, those last barriers of the earth? They too have been conquered by modern transportation devices. Great ships now take us and our goods to the farthest corners of the earth. They cross the most tempestuous seas safely and in comfort, and within a few days. They defy distance and storm and bring the world in turn back to us.
Where'd it go? I guess it just those early Irpy Encyclopedia Britannica films don't have a play out. They don't have a recap with music. So if I'm not paying attention, like I was getting my lunch out of the microwave, I was like, "Whoa! It just ended." And of course, the voice was James Brill, who is the voice of early Encyclopedia Britannica and Irpy films. And it sounded like he was in a hallway recording. Like they had the microphone and he was back in the hallway and they're like, "You're too close. Keep going back. Keep going back." Yeah. All right. So we're beginning to get votes for round 3 of the toe tapping tournament, and some choices are neck and neck right now. I might see a division, but man, I can see the difficulty in choosing some of these. So, all right. So I got it set up on the telecine behind me. Another film called Holding Them Spellbound. And I should say, Gabe, thank you so much for the coffee. Coffee is one way you can support AV Geeks. Go to ko-fi.com/AV Geeks. You can also hit the thumbs up or the like button. Even if you don't like a film, just do it. Just do it. It's free. And if you've done it before, then you know how easy it is, and do it again. All right, so here's Holding Them Spellbound. Enjoy.
How do they do it? How do professional writers grab you and draw you into the worlds they're creating and hold you there? They do it by keeping you interested. They interest you in the characters they've created and in the events that involve those characters. They try to keep you wondering how everything will turn out, the result of all the twists and turns of the plot. Character interest, immediate interest, result interest. These are some of the elements that keep you interested. When you're hooked, it's no accident. That was the writer's intent all along. You do the same thing when you tell a good story in a conversation. You focus on people and the interesting things that happen to them. You want to keep your listener interested. Or we could look at developing interest in another way. We could say that a writer holds your interest in about the same way that a good sporting event does. The players provide character interest. Each play has your immediate interest. And wondering how it will all turn out holds you to the end. That's result interest. For instance, here's a typical crisis. 4th down, 19 yards to go. They're not going to punt. What can the quarterback come up with? One crisis ended. And later, a key play for the opposition. The sense of forward movement keeps holding the interest of the crowd. Each play is a high point that carries the people watching to the next high point. They know each of these individual plays will help determine the outcome of the game, and so their interest is held in the drama of a real event, just as it is in the drama of a good story you might be telling to friends. The good storyteller knows how to hold on to an audience, knows how to keep them interested right up to the end of the story. Well, the same devices that work in real life are the ones professional writers will tell you they put to work to keep their readers interested. Character interest, immediate interest, result interest, in real life or fiction. The writer's aim is to hold your attention on the exciting chase, the dramatic duel, or the comic satire. And the same techniques professional writers recommend, you can learn to use in your writing too. To illustrate, let's create a character. Miss Gogarty. A writer could use descriptive details and images to make her interesting in many ways. But for the sake of our example, for now we're going to make her a little less interesting than we could. Miss Gogarty is 40 years old. For the last 15 years, she's been teaching history. And let's suppose that for the last 15 minutes, she has been under the control of a being from another planet. Another mind is moving her down that school corridor. Her principal, Mr. Hardy, knows her as a friendly, open, talkative person. He senses something is different about Miss Gogarty, but can't quite put his finger on it. So we've created an interesting character in an interesting situation, but not as interesting as it all could be. What would add to the interest would be tying the character in with events. In other words, also stimulating the reader's immediate interest and result interest. For instance, let's try introducing Miss Gogarty in another way. Miss Gogarty is 40 years old. For the last 15 years, she has been teaching history. But for the last 15 minutes, she has been under the control of a being from another planet whose aim is to capture and bring other humans for study to its spaceship hidden in a nearby wooded area. Her principal, Mr. Hardy, may become the first human to be studied by these creatures. We've stimulated your interest in what's happening now in connection with the character and in connection with what's going to happen. Keep these three levels of interest in mind as you write, and your chances are good of keeping your reader's attention.
Wait till you see where I'm taking you.
Where? Gee, I wonder who the police are after back there.
Us, probably.
Oh, Miss Gogarty, who would send the police after us?
I suppose whoever the person is who owns this car.
Interest lies not so much in the amusing payoff or in the dreadful thing that happens, but mainly in keeping the reader waiting to find out what's going to happen. The beginning writer is often too quick to tell what the reader wants to know. This sacrifices suspense. Suspense prolongs a reader's interest in what's happening and in what's going to happen. For instance, a young undercover agent has been assigned to remove some secret files from an office building. Just when she feels she has succeeded, she finds herself confronted by a fierce dog owned by the villain of the story. To create suspense, the writer will draw out this scene, keep the reader guessing about the outcome. But a writer can create suspense in another way, by withholding information from the characters. Suppose a villain wants to do away with the young heroines of a story. The author lets us know his plans to let a rattlesnake do his evil work. And we also know that the young heroines do not know about the snake. And so we're in suspense, knowing what might happen and wondering if it will. So, you create interesting characters, put them in situations of immediate interest, then keep the reader interested in finding out the result. That's how professional writers do it. So to summarize, for immediate interest, use characters and situations that arouse expectations. Then use details and images that convince. Include a sense of forward movement in the story, and build in the suspense of waiting for crises to end. But how can a beginning writer like you keep them waiting for the outcome of a story? How do you create result interest? For result interest, your characters must meet two requirements. They must have something vital at stake, and they must be linked to their problem by an unbreakable bond. Writers merge characters and events sometimes so intimately, so intensely, that each shapes the other. Love can be a kind of bond between characters and events. Love is a powerful force in Romeo and Juliet. In Gone with the Wind, Rhett Butler was so fascinated by Scarlett O'Hara, he could not abandon her until the very end. In Wuthering Heights, there is a bond of love and need between Heathcliff and Catherine that neither can escape. Bret Hart, in his famous story, The Outcasts of Poker Flat, created characters that are bound together by their isolation. There is another kind of device that holds the reader's interest right up to the end of a story. It is the creation of a physical bond between a character and a problem. This is illustrated in the familiar story of the two convicts making their escape while chained together. No matter how much they argue, fight, or want to go separate ways, they cannot break off the struggle. In this case, the bond is a physical link, the chain. And so, make your characters work by putting them in situations that will generate immediate interest and sustain interest in the ultimate result. Do that, and you too can hold your readers spellbound.
That's crazy. Alien abduction. Who'd have thunk it? Pretty great. Thinking that that principle would have been vivisectioned by aliens to be studied. All right, so we're going to do a recap on the round 3 of the toe tapping tournament. Just a quick look. The votes have been coming in, and as I said, wow, there are some that are neck and neck right off the bat. Definitely going to be an interesting thing, especially if we get a tie. I'm going to have to figure out how we're going to do that, if that happens. But let me see. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Make it more. Let's see if I can go just a little bit. Yeah. All right. So let me do a little bit more here. Okay. So it is I Am Me and I Want to Be versus Ducks. Choosing What to Make versus Education Today rap. Never Say You Can't Until You Try versus The World at Work. And AC Delco 1973 Spring Campaign versus Snacking Garbage in Your Gut. Vote your choices at skip@avgeeks.com. It was great to see some emails from some folks I haven't seen for a while, so would love to hear from you. Your votes are important. And again, you have until Sunday. So here we go. I'm going to start off with I Am Me versus Ducks.
Inside of every big guy you'll find there is a little guy, a small guy who wants to become a big guy. I wonder why you big guys don't talk to all those little guys, 'cause if you do you'll find the reasons why. Your little guy needs help from you, it's easy for big guys to do, and with a little help from you your small guy learns to grow up too. So get to know that small guy, a really not so bad guy, that little guy who wants to be a big guy. Inside of every big guy you'll find there is a little guy who wants to be a big guy just like you.
Duck is a word that stands for a bird that walks with little web feet. Feathers on its back and it talks with a quack to anyone it might be. Keeping clean is lots of fun for ducklings, ducks, and everyone. Always washed and clean and neat, and nicer birds you'll seldom meet. Their feathers are so clean and bright, they keep them clean both day and night. Ducks take baths like you and I, but ducks do not need towels to dry. Duck is a word that stands for a bird that walks with little web feet. Feathers on its back and it talks with a quack to anyone it might be.
Now I'm eating a pepper. Excuse me. All right, next. Choosing what to make versus education today.
Now what you gonna make for your mama when all you have is your paper and glue? You might wanna make her a flower pot, but I'm afraid that won't do. 'Cause you put in the dirt, you pour on the water, and the paper pot would fall apart. With your paper and glue, what you probably should do is make her a real fancy card. Now what you gonna make for your daddy when all you have is a big lump of clay? You might wanna make him a real nice card for his birthday or Valentine's Day. The cards made of clay are almighty thick, and envelopes are kinda thin. So listen, why not make your clay to a pot for him to grow daisies in? What you make depends a lot on what you've got to make it out of. You better think about that just a little before you start wondering how do you do it. Now what you gonna make for your brother when all you have is a big box of paint? You might wanna make him a nice batch of cookies and figure you'll get no complaints. The cookies made out of paper and paint, well, they don't taste much like a cookie should taste. You'd be better off painting a picture of him. The cookies would all go to waste. You've got milk and flour and eggs, a paint's not what you should think of making. It makes a messy paint, let me tell ya. You'd be better off doing a little baking. If you wanna make a nice thing, better start off with the right thing. I think you'll turn out okay. If you wanna make a nice thing, better start off with the right thing. I think you'll turn out okay. I think you'll turn out okay. I think you'll turn out okay.
Check it out, though.
E-D-U-C-A-T-I-O-N.
Well, that's a good way to comprehend.
Oh, we are more than conquerors.
So spin a wheel and choice.
Read a little.
Geek, geek.
Lift up your voice.
Well, I'll say,
Okay.
no, that's a better way. Pick up a book and take a look at education today. Don't look down.
Look up.
Float above the rent. Like on water with a considered express. Reach for your goal.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Don't give up the fight. Hold on to your dream, right?
Right.
I'm gonna start. I'm smart, that's my coalition. Pick one subject for my occupation. Be one who works well with ants.
And be a vet.
Solve the flu or chicken pox.
And be a doc.
Hear you when you're at your worst.
And be a nurse.
Fix your teeth when in a mess and be a dentist.
All these occupations are just choices you know, but just start. I'm smart, be your own hero.
Yeah. That one's tough. I mean, it depends on which genre you like. And I could go either way. You know, it's really, they're both very competent and fascinating. So, all right, next is Never Say You Can't Until You Try versus World of Work.
Talking to people out there, yeah. Got a little message, go something like this, yeah. You can make it, you can try now. Come on, try.
Let me try it by myself.
There's something out there in the world of work that's right for you. There's something out there in the world of work inside for you. There's something out there that's bound to make it. Think of the choice. Let me try to take it. There's something out there waiting in the wide world. The world of work. Reach out and take it. The world of work. Reach out and take it. The world of work. Reach out and take it. The world of work.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A lot of your votes via email are talking about how difficult this is, but I appreciate you making those hard decisions, expending some brain power. I see some new faces on here too, and so please vote. New faces get to vote, just like the folks who've been watching for years. So let's see. The final one is AC Delco's 1973 Spring Campaign versus Garbage in Your Gut.
That's how it ends, we're all done. Hope that our friends all had fun. But that depends, did each one turn on with AC? This is the word, our concern. From what you heard, did you learn? Have you been stirred? Will you turn on with AC? Gonna get tough and sell, get premium points as well. Gonna go give them hell out there in the field. Turn on the sails, push 'em through. Good for what ails all of you. Warehouse retails, jobbers too. Turn on with AC.
Garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Oh, keep your mouth shut. And garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Keep your mouth shut. And garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut.
French fries.
Say what? In the gut. Say keep your mouth shut. Garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth shut. Say garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth shut.
Potato chips?
Garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth shut.
Chocolate donut.
Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth shut. Garbage in the gut.
Cream.
Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth shut. Garbage in the gut. Say what? Garbage in the gut. Say keep your mouth
cherry blossom,
Keep your mouth shut, no garbage in the gut.
strawberry pie,
Say, keep your mouth shut, no garbage in the gut. Say what?
blueberry pie,
Keep your mouth shut. Garbage in the gut.
dewberry
Say
pie,
what? Garbage in the gut. Say,
licorice,
garbage in the gut. Say what?
jam, jelly, peach melba, baked Alaska.
Right. So you have until this Sunday, the... Crap, what day is it? I don't know what day it is, but this upcoming Sunday. Today's the 25th, so I don't know. It's 31st, or is it May 1st? But anyways, and then that Monday, next Monday, Katrina and I will reveal the final four that we will compete with against the Found Footage Festival guys. So please vote. I'll probably recap throughout the week. I will be out of town some of the days in the week, so kind of seem all scattered. Anyways, I'll be traveling, doing some consulting work, but I'll still be doing some sort of broadcast. It'll be pre-recorded, but yeah, you'll still see some cool stuff. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Again, if you like us, thumbs up, hit like, subscribe, share with your friends, vote, and also go to ko-fi.com/avgeeks if you want to buy us some coffee. Everybody take care, and I'm excited. This is really great. You guys it's been a lot of fun doing this, and I feel good about this. I feel good. All right, everybody take care.